You will not believe what's going down in the courtroom today. And if you thought you'd seen it all from the world of rap, drama, hold up, because today's headline has everybody talking. Ksoo, the Jacksonville rapper with a track record. That's made headlines coast to coast, just got hit with a death sentence, and the internet is about to explode. Fans are shocked, critics are eating it up, and the streets. Bro, the streets are on fire with rumors and raw emotion. But wait, it's not just about the verdict. The real drama is how Ksoo reacted in that very moment, with cameras rolling, family crying, and haters lurking outside the courthouse. You think you know what happened? Trust me, you don't. Was he defiant? Did he break down? Or did he pull a move so unexpected it left even the judge speechless? And what about the whispers of betrayal from his own crew and the accusations that his sentence is all part of a bigger conspiracy? Hold tight, because we're about to dive deep into the most sensational trial reaction rap news has ever seen. This is the one story you can't afford to miss. As soon as the judge's voice echoed through the courtroom, it felt like the whole world stopped. Nobody could believe what they just heard. The sentence was out death. The words themselves hung heavy in the air, almost suffocating. There was an electric tension, like the whole city had gathered outside that courtroom, eyes glued to their phones, watching live feeds, praying for an outcome that would defy the odds. Ksoo's name trended instantly. Fans started flooding comment sections with disbelief and outrage, some in tears, some in denial. Nobody wanted to accept what had just gone down. Inside the courtroom, Ksoo sat almost motionless, but you could see the storm brewing behind his eyes. All his bravado, the tough guy attitude, the lyrics that made him a street legend, suddenly, none of that mattered. In that moment, he was just a young man, face to face with a verdict that could erase his story forever. Across the aisle, his mother burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably, hands clasped together, whispering prayers under her breath. "Don't take my boy. Please, not my boy," she pleaded, the heartbreak echoing through the room. Ksoo's father stood there, stone-faced, jaw clenched, trying to stay strong for his son, but clearly breaking inside. The silence didn't last. Almost instantly, heated arguments erupted between members of Ksoo's crew and prosecutors. One of his closest friends, Malik, jumped to his feet, yelling, "This is a setup. You know he's innocent." The judge banged the gavel, calling for order, but it barely made a dent in the chaos. Other friends and family members started shouting, some accusing the system, others just wailing in pure disbelief. The courtroom guards had to step in, ushering people back into their seats, trying to keep the madness under control. Outside, the drama was just as wild. Fans had gathered since morning, holding signs, wearing shirts with Ksoo's face on them, chanting his name in solidarity. When news broke about the sentence, the reaction was instant and explosive. Some fans fell to their knees, crying openly. Others whipped out their phones, live streaming the scene, their voices shaking as they narrated what was happening. "I can't believe they did this to Ksoo," one young woman said through tears. "He didn't deserve this. Free Ksoo." The media was having a field day. Reporters crowded around the courthouse steps, fighting for the best angles, feeding the frenzy with every update. TV trucks lined the block, antennas pointed to the sky. Even rival rappers were chiming in on social media, some offering support, others stoking the fire. "The game ain't fair," tweeted one. "They out here, trying to silence a real one." Every tweet, every post, every live stream just added fuel to the already raging fire. But the biggest shocker wasn't just the sentence, it was how Ksoo himself reacted. People expected anger, maybe even rage. But when the camera zoomed in, what they caught was something nobody expected. Ksoo looked straight ahead, his jaw tight, eyes blazing not with fear, but with defiance. He leaned over to his lawyer and whispered something, And although the microphones couldn't catch the exact words, you could tell it was heavy. Then, as if he wanted the world to hear him, he raised his voice just enough to cut through the noise. "This is all lies," he said, his tone steady but loaded with pain. "They set me up. They'd always been out to get me." That statement sent a ripple through the courtroom. Some gasped, others started murmuring among themselves, but his mother just wept harder. A family member reached out, grabbing her shoulder to comfort her, but nothing could soothe the pain of a mother watching her child's fate sealed like this. Meanwhile, Malik, still furious, turned to Ksoo and said, "We're not giving up, bro. We're going to fight this all the way." Their loyalty was clear, but so was the fear. Behind the defiance was a very real sense of dread. What if this was really the end? The prosecutors, on the other hand, looked almost smug. One of them, a tall woman with sharp eyes, watched Ksoo with an expression that said she'd been waiting for this moment. She whispered something to her colleague and nodded, as if to say, "We did it." In the front row, a victim's family member just shook their head, quietly crying, their grief silent but no less powerful. The room was a swirl of emotions: anger, heartbreak, shock, and a cold sense of finality as guards approached to escort Ksoo out. His little brother, barely 15, broke free from his seat and ran toward him, screaming, "Don't take him, please." Security caught him before he reached the defendant's table, but that desperate cry hit everyone hard. Even the judge's face softened for a split second, but the law had spoken, and there was nothing left to say. Meanwhile, outside, the drama kept escalating. Fans started chanting louder, "Free Ksoo! Free Ksoo!" Others argued with news reporters, demanding justice. Rumors started swirling. Some said there was evidence that hadn't come to light. Others claimed the whole thing was a setup from the jump. Conspiracy theories ran wild. Maybe it was a rival rapper pulling strings behind the scenes. Or maybe the authorities just wanted to make an example out of him. The truth felt buried under a mountain of accusations and counterdash claims. As Ksoo was led out of the courtroom, cuffed but head held high, reporters swarmed the exits, shouting questions. One journalist pushed through the crowd, waving a mic. "Ksoo, any last words?" He paused, stared straight into the cameras, and said, "I'm not done yet. You'll see." That line hit hard. It was equal parts threat and promise, and you could tell he meant it. His family followed, looking shattered but determined. His mother, still sobbing, clung to her husband, who finally let the tears fall. Malik and a few others exchanged angry words with police, but were pushed back. Everyone was tense, waiting for the next move, like they all knew this was just the beginning of something much bigger. The vibe outside was wronger, mixed with fear, hope tangled up with despair. As the courthouse emptied, social media lit up with reactions. Clips of Ksoo's defiant stare went viral within minutes. Fans reposted his words, "I'm not done yet. You'll see," with hashtags like #JusticeForKSoo and #FreeTruth. Celebrities weighed in, some offering prayers, others calling out the system for being rigged. A few even hinted that they knew secrets about the case, adding to the chaos and suspense. And while most of his inner circle stuck by him, a few faces were missing. Word started spreading that not everyone in QS's crew was loyal. Whispers of betrayal floated through the crowd. Some said money had changed hands. Others blamed jealousy or fear. Nobody knew for sure, but the seeds of suspicion were planted. And it was clear that the story wasn't over if anything. It was just getting started. As night fell, crowds still lingered, hoping for a miracle or maybe just answers. But inside the courthouse, the scene was empty except for one last figure. Ksoo's lawyer, sitting alone, head in his hands, already planning the next move. The city was buzzing, the internet ablaze. and the world was waiting for what would happen next. This was just the beginning. The twists, the betrayals, the fight for justice and truth, everything was about to get even messier. And as Ksoo sat in his cell, surrounded by silence, his mind raced with questions and fears, but also a burning desire to prove everyone wrong. Would he break or would he rise? Stay tuned for part 2, because the drama is far from over. The silence of the jail cell was a new world for Ksoo. Gone were the flashing lights, the thunderous chants, the wild energy of his fans. Now, all that remained was the cold, echoing clank of metal doors and the heavy weight of what just happened. As he sat on the narrow, unforgiving bunk, every sound outside his cell felt like a reminder. Life as he knew it had changed forever. But even surrounded by concrete walls, Ksoo's mind refused to quiet down. The judge's words replayed in his head over and over like a broken record death sentence. Yet what hurt even more was the image of his mother's tears. The shattered look on his father's face, and the desperate scream of his little brother. All of it had seared itself into his heart, fueling something raw inside him. But just as Ksoo tried to gather his thoughts, the drama outside exploded to another level. While he sat behind bars, his crew was out in the city, rallying support and making noise. Malik, always the loyal one, went live on social media, addressing thousands of viewers. His voice shook with passion and fury. They trying to silence my brother, but we ain't gonna let them. This is bigger than music. This is about justice. People flooded the chat, posting free Ksoo and demanding answers. But not everyone was convinced. One comment stood out. "Malik, if you know so much, why ain't you telling us what really happened that night?" That one line set off a storm of accusations and speculation. While fans argued online, a new twist hit the news cycle. One of the prosecutors leaked a piece of evidence to a popular blog, an old photo of Ksoo with a mysterious figure, someone nobody had seen before. Instantly, the internet detectives went wild. Was this the missing piece? Had Ksoo been set up by someone he once trusted? Rumors spun out of control. Some said the figure was an undercover cop. Others swore it was a rival rapper with a grudge. Ksoo's name trended even higher as people dug up old interviews, song lyrics, anything that might explain how a superstar ended up facing the harshest sentence possible, back inside the jail. The tension was just as thick. Q's lawyer visited him the next morning, briefcase heavy, eyes red from sleepless nights. He pulled up a metal chair and sat down, his voice low but urgent. "Ksoo, we've got a real fight ahead. There are rumors flying, people saying you got betrayed from the inside. Did anyone ever try to get close to you recently? Anyone who might have wanted you out of the way?" Ksoo stared back, his mind racing. "It's always been snakes around me," he said, the pain in his voice almost hidden by anger. "But I never thought they'd go this far." The lawyer nodded, sharing a look that said he understood, but also that he needed more. The judge might have made up his mind for now, but we have options. Appeals, new evidence, whatever it takes. "But you gotta stay strong, Ksoo. There's anything you're not telling me? Now's the time." For a second, Ksoo hesitated. He thought about the photo, about people in his circle who started acting strange weeks before the trial. But could he trust anyone now? Every friend suddenly looked like a potential snake in the grass. The paranoia grew by the minute. Meanwhile, outside the jail, Ksoo's family was dealing with their own storm. His mother refused to eat or sleep, spending hours praying and staring at photos of her son. His father tried to hold the family together, making calls to anyone who would listen, lawyers, politicians, even rival rappers who once had beef with Ksoo but now smelled blood in the water. "They don't care about us," he muttered to his wife. "They only care about headlines." Still, he refused to give up. Every call was a plea, every conversation a battle. As days passed, the drama got deeper. One morning, Malik showed up at the family home with bad news. "Somebody's been talking to the cops," he said, eyes darting nervously. "They're saying it's one of us." The words hit like a slap. Ksoo's younger brother, still traumatized from the courtroom, stared in disbelief. "Who would do that to their own?" he whispered. Malik shook his head, frustration clear on his face. "Money makes people crazy. Bro, trust nobody." Word about the snitch spread fast. The crew started turning on each other. Friendships built over years, now crumbling in hours. One by one, old loyalties were tested. A couple of guys disappeared from group chats, stopped showing up to rallies. Malik tried to keep everyone together, but the pressure was breaking him too. "We gotta find out who did this before it's too late," he told the family. "If we don't, they'll tear us apart from the inside." In the middle of all this chaos, a famous rap news channel dropped a bombshell exclusive and anonymous. Source claimed to have footage proving Ksoo's innocence. They teased the video for days, building hype with cryptic posts and dramatic countdowns. Fans lost their minds, convinced this would finally turn the tide. Even celebrities started hinting at a comeback. But with the whole world watching, nobody could say for sure if the video was real, or just another twist in a saga that refused to end. Back in his cell, Ksoo learned about the video through a guard who smuggled him a phone for a quick call with Malik. "They say there's proof. Bro, you coming home?" Malik's voice was alive with hope for the first time in days. But Ksoo had learned not to trust hope too easily. "Don't believe nothing till you see it yourself," he said quietly. "People lie for fame, for money. I ain't falling for no games." Still, even Ksoo couldn't deny the surge of adrenaline. If the video was legit, everything could change. His mother, upon hearing the news, fell to her knees, crying tears of relief and fear all at once. "Please, God, let this be the truth," she whispered, clutching a worn photo of Ksoo as a boy. His father, for the first time, allowed himself a small smile. "Maybe we're not finished yet," he said, eyes shining with stubborn hope. As the city waited for the footage to drop, the energy was electric. Fans camped outside the news station, some holding signs, others blasting Ksoo's tracks from their speakers in a show of unity. Police showed up to control the crowds, but the scene turned into a street party, filled with chanting, music, and hope that maybe the truth would come out at last. But as the countdown to the video release ticked closer, new twist was brewing behind closed doors. One of Ksoo's oldest friends, someone nobody would have ever suspected, was making moves that could either save him or bury him forever. As the city woke to a new day, tension hung heavier than ever. Inside his cell, Ksoo sat hunched over, head in his hands, mind racing with everything he'd heard through whispers, rumors, and the one or two loyal voices still able to reach him. Every noise echoed footsteps in the hallway, distant keys, the soft thud of a letter dropped by the guard. His family clung to hope, but their nerves were frayed to the breaking point. Malik, battered by betrayal but more loyal than ever, spent his days chasing any lead that could set his brother free. The streets still pulsed with chants and car speakers, blasting Ksoo's hardest tracks, fans refusing to let the movement die. But even with new evidence, nothing was certain. Every promise of proof came with a catch. Every ally was a potential traitor, and every day was a fight for the truth. As Ksoo's lawyer paced the office, files spread everywhere. The door hung in the air like a gunshot. Was it the savior they'd prayed for, or just another twist in a story already overflowing with heartbreak and betrayal? The answer was seconds away, and the world waited desperate to know if Ksoo would find justice, or if the system would swallow another soul whole. Now, it's your turn. What do you think? Was Ksoo set up by someone he trusted? Is the new evidence enough to save him, Or is the game already over? Drop your wildest theories and real talk in the comments. Let's see who's really paying attention. And don't forget, if you want more raw, unfiltered stories from the heart of the rap world, hit that like button, subscribe for the latest drama, and ring the bell so you never miss a single twist. Stay tuned, because with a story like this, you already know anything can happen next.